Hello.
Hi, Frank. It's Mark Hartney. I'm going to leave you on speaker, okay?
Thank you.
On speaker.
That we had agreed 2 weeks ago that there would be coffee.
All right.
Mr. Kraft does not look happy this morning.
There's no chair.
In the absence of a chair, and Mr. Pintabone attending by phone,
We should elect a chair.
it has been recommended that we elect a chair for this meeting.
I nominate Charles Derdinger.
I'll second.
He's going to do all the talking anyway.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I guess I.
For Dirty.
All right. Well, good morning and welcome. If I could ask you to call the roll.
Sure. Mr. Anthony, excused. Mr. Dirtinger.
Here.
Mr. Pintabone.
Here.
Mr. Kraft.
Here.
Ms. Hefner.
Here.
Mr. Donchez.
Here.
Ms. Baum, excused.
And we have Solicitor John Freund, Tina Smith, Mark Hartney, and Sarah Ortiz from DCED. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And no one had signed up. Is there anyone here for public comment? Seeing none, we will move on to the treasurer's report.
You have the June 30th Treasury report in front of you. You'll see on the balance sheet for the general purpose authority, we have cash and cash equivalents of $1,389,000 and change, receivables of $436,000 and change, giving us a total fund balance of $1,280,051.25. We still have the note payable of $350,000, and that gives us, you'll see here, and this probably should be transferred to the income statement, but for the year to date, we do show a net gain of $196,348.66, and that gives us a new ending fund balance of $1,476,399.91. On the second page there, the budget to actual for June 30th. If you go to the third column, you'll see it says actual there, and that is the year-to-date activity we have. Total revenues year-to-date of $280,183.11. If you go further down, you'll see some of the expenditures year-to-date. The auditing services now is posted at the $10,400 and change. Engineering and architectural services year-to-date $47,000. Legal gives us professional services total of $63,000. Operating costs, and then if you go to the following page, you'll see our total expenditures and total revenues. So we have total revenues of $288 change, total expenditures of $91,000 and change, and that's where we probably should. I don't know, Mark, if we could get a column added on the income statement to show net gain or loss, which if you go back to the balance sheet is at the $196,348.66. And then you'll see his comparisons here on to the budget year to date as well. And then the last page is just our capital projects, and that's flow through. We show total revenues to date of $244,935.83, and the expenses are pretty close, or actually at the $244,935.83 as well. Any questions on it? I don't know, Mark. No. If we can, if it's possible on the income statement, it'd be great just on that final page, just to show a net gains loss column, so that 196 or the year-to-date number would flow back to what's on the top of the balance sheet.
I'll look into it with fiscal.
That would be the only thing we need to do.
All right. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report as,
Motion to approve.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, you know what, Ron? It is there. It's just, you can't see it. It's blacked out because it's a black and white.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
photocopy.
Yeah, the
So
way
it
it was
is there.
copied, that's where it shows up.
And
Yeah,
it's 196,348.66.
yeah. Oh, okay, so it is there. We
So,
just wanna copy
Make a motion to change the color and font.
We'll do
it.
that.
It shows up.
I just had that discussion a couple minutes ago.
All right.
Thanks.
Our invoices for payment.
In front of you, you have invoices for payment. It is incorrectly labeled June 4th, 2019. It should be the 9th, July 9th. But in there, we have invoices totaling $49,225.15. King Spry is $6,815. PMA Companies, $3,862. DCED, Verizon, which is a utility relocation, $19,651.15. And then Watt Teeter, which is our special counsel, is $18,897. The supporting invoices are attached.
And if we can, just for a point of clarification, identify which are P3 pass-through monies and which are actually our costs.
Just had that conversation. Do you want me to?
I'm familiar. I don't know if anyone else has a question. Okay. Everyone else seems to be on board. Like to entertain a motion for the payment of these invoices then?
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, and milestone payment number 6, the resolution that we all received by email last week. Before us is the resolution to support paying the partial payment or the part that is not in conflict for the P3 project. Whereas Northampton County General Purpose Authority entered into a public-private partnership with Krieger Construction for the P3 bridge renewal on January 17, 2017, and whereas the developer submitted a requisition for milestone payment number 6, and whereas a letter dated May 31st, 2019, attached here too, made a part hereof as Exhibit A, the General Purpose Authority solicitor outlined that the conditions had not been met for milestone payment number 6 pursuant to Section 19.5B of the PPA, requested and meeting to determine the amount of the partial payment pursuant to 19.7 of the PPA, and whereas a letter dated June 19th here too, and made a part hereof Exhibit B of the General Purpose Authority solicitor, informed the developer that since the developer had not responded to the letter dated May 31st, in conjunction with the project's third-party engineer, Alfred Banish and Company, have determined that the undisputed amount of the milestone payment would be $926,935, and whereas the parties have not resolved the disputed payment within 30 days provided in the contract, whereas the amount of $26,935 is not disputed as owed, it is therefore resolved that the officers of the General Purpose Authority direct the Executive Director to make the milestone payment number 6 to the developer in the amount of $926,935, duly adopted on this day.
So moved.
Second.
Third.
Any discussion on this or questions? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And now we are up to the bridge update.
Actually,
We are not? The invoice is paid
invoices
to
paid
date.
to
I'm
date,
sorry.
4.4. It's included for your information.
Yes. Any questions on the invoices paid to date? All right, as far as the bridge update, Greg Kuklinski is on vacation this week, and honestly and truly, there has not been a lot of update on this project, other than we did send the payment over to them. They are in receipt of that payment and have taken that payment. The Bridge 63 has not really moved forward very much. They had been hammering rock, but as of my last trip out there, there was no equipment there any longer. Their excavators had been moved. They had removed a bit of rock from the, they were hammering rock on the east side of Bridge 63. They'd removed a bit of rock, and then everything else seemingly has left. At the day that I was there, the water levels were below, well below the cofferdam that they had set up. I had met with the owners of the grist mill, the adjacent property next to them. The grist mill has about half of their parking lot in the front of the store. And the grist mill, for those who don't know, is a arts and crafts, almost mall. They've done a wonderful job of renovating that very large grist mill and barn. There is a furniture and cabinetry restoration facility there, and those folks are hurting significantly because this 2-month project is now in its 3rd month in a week, and there's no end in sight. More than 2/3 of the bridge is still there. They've only been hammering the rock, as I said, on the east side, and nothing to that extent really has moved forward in the last week or so. The other element is, and certainly one of the things that we need to be cognizant of is, we just spent $19,000 to relocate cables at Bridge 184, and these are a lot of unanticipated or unexplained, when this project was adopted, costs. So that's just for one bridge, the relocation of one set of cables. It is an ongoing expense, and certainly something we need to be cognizant of as this moves forward. Other than that, Mr. Kuklinski had provided his usual report, and there is an anticipated status meeting to start up again in 2 weeks. Yeah, I believe about in 2 weeks. We've been discussing that this is necessary. Incidentally, Bridge 184 is the bridge from last year that is pushed into this year that the Verizon cables are at. Anyone have any questions for the bridge?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Since I don't bridge speak.
Sure.
Okay, according to his report under Bridge 63 milestone payments, should that be amended in his report? Because we're not paying them $2 million and change. Oh, wait, and it was paid, never mind. Strike that. So it says they started on 4/13/19 on Bridge 63. It's a construction resumed on 6/3/19. So what's left to do? Because you just said that they moved the stuff, so they're not going to do it? Or?
There is a lot left to do. The remaining sections of the bridge have to be removed. So 2/3 of the bridge is still effectively there. They need to finish hammering the rock on the east side so that they can accommodate the bridge components that go on that side and footings. And then there is a water line that has to be carved out into the stone there so that that water line would now be appropriately set across the water. And then the rest of the entirety of the bridge has to be constructed. The banks have to be regraded. The decking needs to be paved, and everything needs to be cleaned up and moved out.
But there's nobody working on it.
There was no one working on it as of this weekend. This weekend when I passed, there was nothing there. I did not stop by yesterday, and I don't have any report from anyone telling me that they are back. The folks at the grist mill have offered to call when they see activity there again, and once there is activity, they've offered to call when activity ceases again. But in the absence of receiving a call from them, I'm inclined to say that they're not there.
So since there's only 3 bridges tagged for this year, where does that put us in terms of the actual timeline? Like how far behind or ahead? Or
Well deficient. We were to keep on the timeline as prescribed. And you know, to this extent, the GPA nor the county picks the bridges. Krieger sets the schedule and sets up what they do for the bridges. All we do is pay milestones based on whether or not they've been met. They were supposed to have 4 additional bridges or 11 bridges completed as of the 31st. We are, as you know, at 7, 1 at 33%, and 1 arguably today maybe at 10% being complete. So they are deficient by, you know, a factor of 3 1/3 bridges being built at this point. There is another milestone payment that comes up in August.
And can I stop you? Is that
can.
3 1/3 for this year, or 3 1/3 going back to 2018?
3 1/3 overall of the contract. This year, they should have had, there were 11 bridges scheduled by their schedule that they had offered to be done this year, which really accounted for 2 of the bridges that we had moved to remove from the project that were in this year's schedule. And I believe everyone would have been comfortable with having just had them do 8 bridges from this year's schedule because we took 2 out. But they didn't finish 3 from last year, so that gave them 11 to finish out this year to stay on their schedule. And they had committed in the earlier parts of this year and the end of last year to do those 11 bridges. And again, they pick the bridges and the scheduling how they are. So it's not a matter of being able to say that, well, you know, we had in-stream restrictions, or we didn't have DEP permits, or this wasn't there, or that wasn't there. They actually select what should be the most efficient means for them to construct these bridges, or at least one would imagine that's the case. And that has not proven to be successful. Any other questions?
I have an obvious one.
Okay.
What the heck do we do about that? I mean, I don't even mean to be funny, but it just makes no sense to
We
me.
are, and I believe John can comment here, but we are continuing our conversations with them, or at least trying to. There's been letters going back and forth, which everyone has been copied on, and we are responding to the most recent letter of theirs. Unfortunately, there's more paper moving than actual stone or concrete.
That's, you know, and as representative for county council, I'm sure they're not going to be happy hearing this. But I guess the question remains, what can we do to get this moving forward? Because it's not heartening to hear. And I know that they're going to be building a bridge in our town separate from this, so it doesn't make me very excited to hear that Hellertown and Lower Stockton will be efficiently closed off from each other for like months. Because if they can't do this one, what makes me think they're going to do that one? But that's neither here nor there. Is there anything we can
Well,
do
certainly,
about this?
certainly, the reduction in the milestone payment reflecting the limited progress that they've made is, I think, a major step in the right direction. We're still waiting to, get a meeting with them. That has not occurred. We'll keep pushing for that meeting. But I think, withholding money or paying based upon their progress, when there's lack of progress, there's lack of money. That's a major step. And otherwise, we'll see what develops, when we meet with them.
And to answer a question, Lori had asked me earlier, what else can we do to help the grist mill, since that we are choking their business off with this bridge that was supposed to take 2 months and now is 3 months. One of the things that we are talking to the road detour company is to accompany the bridge out signs, the big bridge out orange signs, with a grist mill open sign directing people to go that direction, so that folks are not getting lost or turning around or just giving up because they think they can't get to where they're going. So. With that,
Is it worth it to ask them to come here to a public meeting, or would they not?
Who,
Krieger or any of their representatives?
I'm not sure that would be productive of a public meeting,
Okay.
but it's.
That's why
Be
we
amusing.
ask you to be here to make those decisions. Doesn't seem fair to be hostaged.
I think that would just tend to reinforce respective positions and make things less flexible in the order.
all right. If there are no further questions on the bridge, GPA insurance RFP update.
The committee met to review RFPs, including Mr. Dertinger, Mr. Anthony, and Ms. Hefner. Was that 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 firms have been invited in for interviews that are taking place next week. We have them scheduled, so hopefully by next month we will be back with a recommendation on the insurance RFP.
And that's just for the insurance broker, not the actual insurance.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
The Glendon Hotel. I read about it in the morning call.
In front of you is a memo from me based on our conversation last month. I went out and solicited 3 proposals for engineering for a site feasibility study, a limited site feasibility study. The results are in front of you. The recommendation from our office is to go with Civitas Regio for a total lump sum contract cost of $3,750 to do the limited site reuse study. I've taken the liberty of preparing an approval resolution for you, and the proposal from Civitas is attached to that. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
There's a part of me that just wants to make you say Civitas Regio again, but notice he gets a little pained when he says that. All right, with no other questions, can I have a motion to move forward this resolution?
I'll give you a motion to move forward on this resolution.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, and now new business and staff report.
No report.
No report from the staff. Does anyone have any new business for the GPA? With that, our next meeting will be August 6th at 8:15, right here. And I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Sorry, Ken.
You're adjourned.
Hi, Steve.
Try again. We are adjourned.